So just a couple days ago, I was just sitting there and thinking to myself about this certain trend that I've noticed with fragrances. And as I thought about it more and more, the YouTuber in my mind was like, you know what? You should make a video about that. And so that's what this is. Today I've got a video about 10 of the most hated, but also loved fragrances to ever exist on the men's side. And again, that is the trend right there. You do not have to go far at all when you're doing research on any of these 10 fragrances to find a substantial amount of negativity and dislike, but also on the other end to find a ton of praise. And it really makes it challenging for people to dive into these because they don't know who and what to believe or listen to. And that's one of the true setbacks about this hobby, right? It's one of the things that causes a lot of people stress. You watch your favorite reviewer, maybe he really loves something and you try it and you hate it. No one's wrong in that scenario. It just means your taste is different. And it's no doubt that a lot of these fragrances have a ton of hype behind them. And when people buy into that hype, sometimes they're burned big time. And there's also different reasons why each of these have such a polarizing effect. And I'll talk about that as we go. I will link these down below if you do have any interest in buying these. And for the record, I will say a lot of these I actually really do like. So if you were expecting to click on a video and see me bash 10 fragrances for 15 minutes straight, that's not going to be this video, but I'll kind of go through each of these objectively and explain them as we go. I'm also doing a $1,000 giveaway cash on my community tab right now. Go over there and enter into that. Just subscribe to the channel, comment on that post. I'm doing giveaways like that every month. That one is more because of the holidays, Christmas, and that sort of thing. After that, they'll continue to be $500 giveaways every month. I'm also posting deals over there all the time, so you can pick up any sort of rare, discontinued, hard to find fragrance. Anytime something comes into stock, I post about it so you don't want to miss out. All right, let's kind of address the elephant in the room, and this is kind of actually the inspiration for this video. It's Creed AVENTUS. We'll just get it out of the way up front. Now, I did go ahead and treat myself to a brand new bottle, which has the metal cap. I don't know how well you can tell, but it's metal. The top is all black, and that's metal, okay? So gives the bottle a little bit more heft. And another thing, they took away the black paint on the Creed here on the front, which chips off and wears off anyway, so it's probably a good move, and it's just clear. Now, this is also where they've completely done away with the batches. So like this batch is lot number F000212. I have no idea what that means. So it used to be 18 and then a letter and then 2 more numbers or something like that. And the first set of numbers there, the 18 in this case, would be 2018. Getting off track here, basically this one, no matter where you go, if you talk about AVENTUS on a video, on a forum, you're going to have people replying to you and either saying that it's horrible and that you suck and you shouldn't wear it, or that it's really, really good. And so it's crazy how a fragrance that's one of the most popular men's fragrances is also one of the most hated. Now, it goes without saying, I have a ton of bottles of this stuff. I wear it just because I like it. However, the issue does become for other people when the price of this one is increasing year by year and the quality is staying the same or going down. That's a big issue. And also, the amount of clones on this one is ridiculous. And so those two factors there really contribute towards the hate of this one. And I see why people dislike this and why they're tired of hearing about it. Very rarely does it show up in videos on my channel anymore, except for ones like this where I'm probably kind of dissing on it a little bit. Okay, next up we have MOSCHINO Toy Boy. So this one stormed onto the market with almost a PACO RABANNE style bottle. And trust me, we're getting to PACO RABANNE in a minute, but you know, this is just very much on brand with what they would do, which is kind of a bottle that's a little bit more unique, kind of loud, and pretty much the opposite of classy. Like if you had guests over and you are someone that keeps your cologne in the bathroom, which you shouldn't do, but if you did and you had this sitting on your bathroom counter, that would raise some questions. Okay, it's a little bit strange, but that doesn't matter, right? What matters is the scent. And for this type of bottle, it's only fitting that it's kind of a rose, almost fruity type of scent. So it's not very masculine, it's floral, it's not your typical men's scent. And personally, I think it was a mistake trying to label this one for men. I think it should just be for everybody because it's definitely unisex and it could go either way. Now, this one here has rose, pink pepper, and pear. I had to look up the notes on this one because I just don't wear it. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's bad because I do really respect the brand for what they're doing here. However, it just doesn't align with what I normally would reach for. For some people it does. For some people this is amazing and they really, really love it. Other people despise it. Again, respect to the brand for trying to put out something different, and I think that's really cool and it's admirable. For me, it just doesn't work. For a lot of other people it doesn't, or it does. So it really is very polarizing on this one for sure. And probably another one that you were expecting to see relatively soon, it would be this guy, Sauvage by Dior. This is the Eau de Toilette. Now, you could probably just go ahead and group all of the blue fragrances into this category. You could do Bleu de Chanel and Dylan Blue and Aqua Atlantique and YSLY, EDP, EDT, Parfum, whatever, right? Just all of those. And, you know, you could do that, but I do think picking one is the best option here because I think Sauvage kind of got the blunt and soaked up the most of that hate. You know, Bleu de Chanel, it came out and it was the first one that was doing that sort of thing. It kind of pioneered the blue fragrance, so to speak, right? And Sauvage, of course, being a direct competitor to Chanel, decided, you know what, we got to put something out. And so they came out with Sauvage. I said Sauvage is a direct competitor to Chanel. Dior, direct competitor. They got to put something out that's going to be as versatile, that's going to get people compliments, and that's going to make them millions and millions of dollars. And this is what they came up with. Now, not for nothing, I actually really like Sauvage. You know, it's just one of those things. I've been wearing this for years. Great performance on my skin, always has great versatility. I just really like it. The Eau de Parfum, the Parfum, Elixir, they're all great. But this one, I mean, really is completely destroyed by so many people, and so many people despise this stuff, while on the other hand people absolutely love it. And when you get opposite ends of the group here to go head to head, it's like a bloodbath. I mean, people do not back down over their Sauvage. You know, I really like it, but I'm not going to get mad at someone for not liking this just because I do and they don't. But it definitely gets a little bit crazy out there when Sauvage is being brought up. And speaking of PACO Rabanne here a minute ago, we'll go ahead and get it kicked off with Invictus, right? So, you know, bubblegum sweetness with a little bit of an aquatic kind of fresh note. Now, this is kind of what I'm talking about here with their bottles. Now, this one isn't so bad. I'm getting to one other here in a little bit that's significantly more PACO Rabanne-y, but it definitely does kind of add fuel to the fire, so to speak. It gives, you know, people ammo basically to take even more shots at this. As if the scent was something they already didn't like, now they can point at the bottle and laugh at it and mock it because, you know, it's not the most classy looking thing. I don't have a problem with it other than it's just not something I would keep on the front display of my shelf. I like the simplistic, classy, just, I don't know, minimalistic bottles and presentations, and this really just isn't that. Scent-wise, also isn't one that I reach for. I would much prefer to bring back Invictus Aqua, first of all, 2016. I really like that. The newest Invictus Victory is about the only one that I would wear with any sort of regularity now. So it's not that I'm a hater. I just isn't something that I wear, right? On the other hand, there are haters and there are also diehard lovers. So again, one of the more popular, successful men's fragrances with two different camps. Either you love it or you completely hate it and you just want to set it on fire. Got a fun one up next, Bentley for Men Intense. Now this is going to be by far the cheapest one on this list, and I've talked about it before, but when you combine a cheap price with a challenging scent, it's a recipe for disaster. Because people who are usually just getting into this hobby, generally on discounters, are going to be gravitating towards the more affordable things, right? It only makes sense. That's how I got started. When you start getting into something like this as a beginner, it's going to completely throw you off your game in a lot of instances. I've seen a lot of comments where someone says, hey, I blind bought this one and I actually ended up really liking it and I'm relatively new. And I've seen the complete opposite of that as well. So this can go both ways. It's got rum, it has incense, it is smoky, it's woody, it's boozy, it to some people smells like a church, to some people smells like a grandpa, a whole bunch of stuff, right? So do be careful with this one. Know what you're getting yourself into. Don't get this as a beginner. Wait a little while. But for someone who does want something different, for $30, this is one of the best buys out there on the unique designer side. Next up, Gucci Guilty Absolute. An absolute beast of a scent here. Has leather, cypress, woody notes, but it's all about the leather. Smells like a tire shop. Really does have this rubbery, kind of oily, greasy smell to it. This is the type of thing that I would point people to if they want something that is undeniably masculine. You don't want any PACO, RABANNE, INVICTUS sweetness. You don't want any, what else have I talked about? MOSCHINO, Toy Boy sweetness, right? You don't want none of that. You want something that's going to be traditionally masculine and strong, and even a little bit earthy and just leathery and rich. This is going to be for you. But again, fair warning, not for everybody. I've seen comments ranging from people say this smells like Band-Aids, legitimately Band-Aids. I've seen that multiple times. It's not just a one-time thing. All the way to people saying it's one of their best fragrances ever. It's a masterpiece, and they've bought so many backup bottles of it because it is discontinued. So all across the board, don't go into this one completely blind unless you know you really like leather. And we'll hit up PACO, RABANNE one more time. We'll just bust on them a little bit more and then leave them alone, right? It's a Phantom. So yeah, you could either go for just the standard bottle, like this, or you could get their limited edition camouflage one, which is the exact same scent. So do not go out and buy the camo one thinking that it's different or vice versa. Same thing. If you're a diehard collector, then it makes sense to get both, if you wanted. Otherwise, there's no need. These are also refillable, so there's no need to buy another bottle if you were to ever run through yours. You can just buy a refill and save some money. Now, what is it about Phantom that gets hate? Is it the bottle or is it the scent? I think it's both. Now, this has lemon zest and smoke and lavender and vanilla, so some interesting notes. Maybe not so much the notes themselves, but the combination, lemon zest and then straight up smoke, almost sounds like it would be like a Bleu de Chanel type of thing, the lemon incense type of thing, grapefruit, because Bleu de Chanel Parfum does have lemon zest. And then you have vanilla, so sweetness, and then lavender, kind of a fresh aromatic touch. It's all over the place. Ultimately, this does still trend very much in the sweet direction. So people who are expecting something revolutionary from PACO, RABANNE with a bottle that looks like this aren't going to get that. You would think that would be common knowledge, but I guess people still do go into something like this thinking it's going to be brand new. It's never going to be, right? It's PACO, RABANNE. They're nothing against them, but they're just not going to do that. And so again, leading to that is the bottle itself, right? There's nothing about this that I would want to show off like I'm super proud of it. It's cool. Whatever, it's nice, but it's just those two things combined really get this one a ton of hate. I mean, it's quite amusing to go down the rabbit hole and see what people are saying about this. Okay, next up we have Fragrance One, Office for Men, Jeremy Fragrance's line. This is a vintage bottle, so I gotta completely get over here because my face will completely distort in the back of this. You can't even see where it says office, can you? There it is. Office for Men. So now all of the bottles are black as far as I'm aware, and this was before that, but this also isn't so vintage that it's the square stock bottle either. So that's kind of is what it is. Now, what is it about this one? Anytime a YouTuber comes out with a fragrance, it's going to, by default, get hate. So that's nothing new, but it goes beyond that with this. I think the main two things really are going to be the price to smell ratio. So when this is going for $400, somewhere around in there, for a scent like this, which is very heavy on the ambroxan and very much intended to be a wearable, mass-pleasing scent, people do take issue to that. This is on sale a lot. I don't really know for sure what's going on with the brand. It's kind of hard to keep up with it. There's big discounts, 73% off or something like that I've seen. So I don't know. Maybe you can get it for much cheaper now. I'm not really for sure. But at the full retail price when there's no sales, it's quite astonishing. And again, people, I guess, are expecting something unique out of this and they don't get that and all of that stuff. So there's just a lot going on with this one where it's completely opposite ends of the fence. I mean, everyone from saying that it's all they wear and they love it and they only wear stuff from this brand and it works great to the complete opposite, that they think it's all a terrible dumpster fire mess. I actually really like how this smells. I like Date for Men, and most importantly, I actually really like how this one smells. I do think it's pleasant, and I think Black Tie for Men is probably their best work. It's kind of leathery and actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Gucci Pour Homme, but it's much more wearable. So that's a really nice one if you do want to stand out and have something that has a little bit of a fighting chance of being unique. However, Date for Men and this one are not really going to be in the unique category. That being said, it's a great compliment getter. It's a great performer. It just doesn't really get the best reputation. Yves Saint Laurent KOUROS, oh man, is this one something. I mean, this has civet, honey, there's a whole bunch of other notes in here, lavender. I mean, it is just, I'm not even going to spray it. Nope, absolutely not. I can smell it just off here. I mean, this is an 80s powerhouse is all this is, okay? So obviously this was before my time, like I wasn't born in the 80s, but I can smell this and just think of the type of people, what they would look like when they're wearing this. And it really is quite entertaining. So yeah, this one here, definitely not going to be for everybody, I would say, in this day and age. Unless you grew up wearing this, it's probably one you could skip over. Because most people watching this, especially my age, are going to completely despise this stuff. Personally, I don't think it's horrible. It's just not something I enjoy all that much. But I do think it's cool. I like to smell it and just think about how many people were wearing this back in the day, because I know it was a lot. It's a very popular one. It's pretty neat. Okay, so this last one is actually going to be kind of a mashup, I suppose, because there's a few different fragrances in this category. So it's going to be a tie between three of them. And believe it or not, it's actually Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, and Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. The reason why is because, and especially with the Dior, why I chose this one as the forefront, every time I feature it, without fail, at least a couple comments saying it smells like a grandma's purse, it smells like a woman's lipstick in a bag, I don't see the hype, it's way too powdery, right? And then on the other end of the things, and then on the other end, you have people saying it's a masterpiece, it's a 10 out of 10. Now, this is one where I am all the way on the masterpiece side. I think it's one of the best designer pieces of art ever. I really, really love it. But I do also understand why people would not. And so in the community, this one actually is kind of almost favoring in the love direction, at least from what I've seen. It does get a lot of pushback, but I do think in the community, the love is strong, you know, stronger than some of these others. But outside of the community and just, you know, people who are maybe a bit newer or they just don't like this stuff, they completely hate it. So it's very popular, very successful, but it also has a lot of pushback as well. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me. Just a fun little video here. 10 of the most hated and also loved fragrances that exist on the market. So there could have been some other ones as well, as per usual, but these are kind of the ones that I thought of initially. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.